Today we are on Home Connections, page 133 and 34. We're going to go over your work, your answers. So on page 133, we're going to fill in the blanks and then write two equations. We're going to have to write a multiplication and a division one to match the array. So up here at the top, we've got a gray box here, and you know something times 24 is 240. The answer is 10. And then I'm noticing from 240 to 120, that's half. So you're dividing 240 by 2. So I'm going to take 10 and I'm going to divide it by 2. So 5 times 24 is going to be 120. So for my multiplication equation, I'm going to put these two together. So I'm going to have 15 times 24 is going to be an answer, and you're going to add these two together. So 240 plus 120 is going to be 360. Now for your division equation, you're going to take 360 and you're going to divide it by 24 and you're going to get 15. However, if you also said 360 divided by 15 equals 24, that is also correct. So on number 2, 20 times 12, well, I know 10 times 12 is 120, so 20 times 12 is going to be 240. And then you have to think, what times 12 is 72? And the answer is 6. So if we go down here and write our multiplication equation, we're going to put these two together. 20 plus 6 is 26 times 12 is going to be, and you're going to add these two up to get your final answer. So it's going to be 312. So next we take 312 and we divide it by 26, and that equals 12. Or you could have said 312 divided by 12 is 26. Either way would have worked. Moving down the page to number 3, we've got an array now, we have to fill in the middle. So 1 times 3/4 is 3/4. And then 3/4 times 3/4 is 9/16. And so now if we put these two numbers together, we've got 1 and 3/4 times 3/4. That's going to give us an answer. Now we've got to add these two together. So I have to multiply these both by 4 to get 16. So if I multiply them both by 4, I'm going to have 12/16. So now I'm going to add 9 plus 12, 21/16, or 16 goes into 21 one time with 5/16 left over. So now let's turn this around and make it a division problem. So this is going to be what we're dividing. So 1 and 5/16 divided by 3/4 is 1 and 3/4. Or you could switch these two around and say 1 and 5/16 divided by 1 and 3/4 equals 3/4. Number 4, this black box up here, I know that 8 times 3 is 24, so 8 times 30 is going to be 240. And then 8 times 25 is going to be 200. Down here for our multiplication, we're going to put 30 and 25 together, so that's going to be 55 times 8 equals, and you're going to add these two up together, 440. And then let's make it a division problem. 440 divided by 8 is 55, or 440 divided by 55 is 8. All right, moving on to page 134. We're going to evaluate each expression, and remember, when everything is multiplication, you can multiply in any order that makes it easy for you. So I'm going to first take 4 times 1/4. 4 times 1/4 is 4/4, or 1, and then 12 times 1 is 12. On B, 6 times 1/3. Well, 6 times 1/3 times 48, sorry. 6 times 1/3, I'm going to do this one first. 6 times 1/3 is 2, and then 48 times 2 would be 96. Down here, you've got 3/5 times 4/5 times 5. Well, if I do 3/5 times 5, that is 15/5, and then 15 over 5 is the same as 3 if you divide 15 by 5, and then 3 times 4 is 12, so this answer is 12. 16 times 3/4 times 1, well, you know this one, anything times 1 is itself, so this one is 3/4. So 16 times 3/4, well, 1/4 of 16 is 4, so 3/4 would be 12. And then the last one, 1/2 times 6 times 2/3. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 6, which is 3. And then 3 times 2/3 is 6/3, which is the same as 2. Number 6, Ben drove 4/7 of the way to his friend's house before he stopped to eat lunch. If the distance to his friend's house was a total of 427 miles, how far did Ben drive before he stopped for lunch? Well, he's going to drive 4/7 of the way. 4/7 of 427. Remember, of means to multiply. So this is the same as 427 over 1. So I know 4/7 times 427 over 1, 7 goes into 427. So I'm going to cross cancel. I'm going to divide both the 7 and the 427 by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and then 427 divided by 7 is 61. So now I have both fractions over 1, so I just have to worry about the top. So now I'm going to do 61 times 4, that's going to be 244 miles. So he traveled 244 miles before he stopped for lunch. Sage hiked 12.5 miles one day on her vacation. Her younger brother Chris hiked 1/4 as far. How far did Chase hike? We're going to do 12.5 times 1/4. And you can do this two different ways. You can make an array and split 12 into 12 and 1/2, and then multiply 1/4 times both of them. Oops, 12, 1/2. Oops, uh-oh. Let me get this. Okay, over 2, and then put 1/4 over here, and multiply that out. Or you can make 12 and 1/2 a mixed number. And that's what I'm going to do here. 12 and 1/2, so you're going to do 2 times 12, which is 24, plus 1 is 25, over 2, times 1/4. And then that's going to be 25 over 8. And now we have to reduce it. 8 goes into 25 3 times, because 8 times 3 is 24 with 1/8 left over. So let's go back up and check our label. How far did Chase hike? 3 1/8 miles. And if you did the challenge, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what the answers are. I'm not going to go over them because it's just a challenge and it's not something we're focusing on today. So write an expression to show how much liquid Randy drank in all, with D being how much he drank. So 3/4 times 250 plus 3 5/6 times 150 plus 7/8 times 400 equals D. That's an expression. And then milliliters, he drank 1,112 and 1/2 milliliters. And then how many liters is this? You're going to divide it by 1,000, 10,000. Oh no, right here. So the decimal divided by 1,000, and it would be 1.1125 liters.